Welcome to the organised chaos. Been a difficult day, a lot going on. Solicitors, accountants, councils, planners, blah, 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 contractors. A lot of the ugly stuff, a lot of people don't want to talk about, but this is the real deal. The ugly stuff every single day that needs to be done. The level of paperwork is absolutely infuriating. I shared a social media story earlier on Instagram. We need to really revolutionise this because it's an absolute joke, the amount of paperwork and repetitive stuff that needs to be done. So why don't we just upload all contracts onto blockchain immediately, searches, get a database over 10 years, everything could be done over 10 years, much quicker, but just use 10 to let them off the hook. And we should be able to seamlessly transact real estate. But whatever, that's, I'm sure that'll happen, it's just a matter of time. But yeah, been a difficult day, but it's these days, the hurdles that are thrown up that very often, that's what creates the success. There was a book written a while ago, I think Ryan Holiday wrote it, called The Obstacle is the Way. And that's about like purposely finding the obstacles that are on the path in order to sort of transcend them, go beyond them, make yourself bigger than them, like consume them, so that the level of your problems actually expand as you do. And generally speaking, the bigger the problem, the bigger the person you're becoming. And you don't notice that the problems are actually getting bigger because you're becoming a bigger, wider psychology mentality, and a bigger success essentially in whatever you're looking at doing. And the ugly stuff that no one talks about, that's where you get ahead. I know people want to be out on the road and doing all these sexy things and whatever, but the reality is that sitting at a desk, doing what you're doing and grinding it out and making tons of phone calls and making sure people are doing what they're supposed to be doing, that's the reality of most businesses. Just putting in the hours, pulling in the shift. I see a lot of like the new agey type personal development, self-help type people, and it's all about being in alignment with yourself and all this shit. Like, I'm not saying that that's nonsense, it isn't, but capital, access to capital, that's how you build stuff you want to be building in the future. So my vision is a 15, 20 year vision. At that point, I will have the capital to live the life that I want to be living. But you have to create that to begin with. Now, a lot of these type of people who preach about, oh, just do what your heart's saying and all this shit. The issue with that is that they're all broke. Vast majority of them are broke because they're doing all this wishy-washy stuff rather than just doing the hard work to begin with, 10, 15 years, and then you've got the capital to build. If you want the life you live, you need the capital to do that. Usually capital is in the form of money nowadays. That's just how we do things. So ignore the people who are the naysayers. Ignore the ones who haven't been where you're going and where you want to go. If they're negative about what you're doing, if they think you're greedy, or if they think you're a greedy capitalist, something like that, or you're not following your heart's calling or whatever bullshit they come out with, just know that the vision that you've set for yourself, which needs to be clear, that is what's driving you, not other people. Who you were yesterday, that's your only competition. Can you beat them? Can you be better? Can you be a smarter, more intelligent person than them? Competing with other people doesn't work. It just leads you to like procrastination and depression and all that shit. Just follow people or look for inspiration from people who are ahead of you. whatever that looks like in whatever area of life that looks. Because otherwise, what's the point? We pay far too much attention to the good opinion of other people. A lot of people look at their past and think that their present state is traumatized by that past. Okay, could have been, but the reality is that it's about the contextualizing of the past today that gives you a sense of growth and expansion. Not looking back, it's contextualizing what happened. So I know people who have had a terrible childhood who have used that as fuel to create something magical. I've known people who have had a terrible childhood who are no longer with us because they've took their own life. So it's about how you see the past. And then into the future, it's your future vision that creates the clarity today. And that vision has to be huge. The reason it's huge is that it removes all the clutter in the middle. I've said this in the past, in other videos. Most people's issues today is because they have a lack of clarity. A lot of folks don't know what to do with their time. They think they're lazy or they think they're procrastinating, but the reality is they just don't know what to do. They've got no clarity. You get clarity by the future, by having a future vision. You don't get clarity by like writing a to-do list, which I've got here. That to-do list is all based on a vision in the future. So if you're lacking clarity, sit down for just 20 minutes, 30 minutes and write down what you want your life to look like in 15, 20 years' time. And your actions today are determined by that. Now that might change in 6 months, it doesn't matter, it's irrelevant, but it's got to happen today. And then your future self in 6 months will determine what you do then. Because we have a warped view of time. And back to listening to other people's opinions, if they don't have clarity on their life, if their life's a shit heap, why do you listen to what they're saying? Because I know I fall into this trap as well. I have to catch myself doing it. They'll give an opinion, and that's not worthwhile anyway, because they're not where I'm going, and they're unclear on their life. Their relationship's a mess. Whatever else. What's the point in listening? So, just use your common sense. It's easy to sit here and talk about it, but the reality is that most people out there listen to other people's opinions because they think there's something worthwhile there and there isn't. A person's opinion is simply that. There's no objective reality to it. So, that's just, I didn't really know what to do as a video today. I've had no viewings. I've been sat behind the desk most of the day doing all the really ugly stuff. So I just thought I'd give a bit of a life, whatever this is, how I see the world. Hope that helped somewhat, and I'll leave that with you.